Hey folks, welcome back to our channel. Um, I am quite frustrated. I don't know if people realize how hard it is to be a single parent. I know that that's weird to say because the statistics and the stereotypes and everything, more women do it than men. And in our community, that's unfortunately considered a norm. But it is extremely difficult being a single parent, especially when one of your children has special needs. And for me, I'm raising twin boys, and my younger son, as I've said before, is on the spectrum and has a plethora of learning disabilities as well. And it is extremely hard doing it by myself. There are so many great days, but for every great day, there is also a rough day, a bad day, and days filled with opportunities, because I don't like to say challenges. I've had to advocate so much for my son. I've had to do so much. I mean, for starters, he was in functional skills, which is what special education, or like certain classes are like transitioning to become. And when he started pre-K, he was in functional skills due to like his IQ, due to his disability, due to like how many challenges and opportunities he had with his autism. And I had to advocate for services. I had to advocate for speech. I had to advocate for ABA. I had to advocate for like proper placement. I had to advocate for everything, which of course is my job, right? And it is so much harder as a black man trying to advocate for a black boy, and having people to tell you that, oh, he'll never be able to do this, or he'll never be able to do that, and he'll have to do this, and you need to do this, and then having people to fight back when you do that, and call meetings, and all these different stressors. And like our journey has been tedious, it's been time consuming, but I'm so proud. I don't know if it's the educator in me, I don't know if it's just the fierce father in me, I don't know specifically what it is, but I have always fought so hard for both of my sons, making sure that they both were able to close the achievement gaps and academic gaps, because they both had developmental delays. One just had some other things going on too. And like, by the time my younger son was in kindergarten, in like second semester kindergarten, I started working so much more with him. My background is ELA, but when you have elementary age kids, you have to be pretty much a master of everything. And so we started working, started increasing a lot of things, started getting him into all these therapies and all these different things to get him to where he needed to be. Not so much to prove anything to anybody else, but so that he can survive and thrive. Like, I won't always be here. One day, unfortunately, like, I will have to depart from this earth, and I want him to be able to be as independent and as successful as possible. And so eventually he tested out functional skills, yay, into gen ed, but then of course created all these other barriers, because here's a child who's missed academic pieces for all of kindergarten with a lot of the foundation pieces, because functional skills teaches you how to function in life or function with day-to-day things. It doesn't really give you academics on the scope that it should. And that's nothing against that particular department. It's just he transitioned out into gen ed with no support. And I was like, well, we have this IEP, and I was like, we have all these things, but it wasn't enough. I had to keep going and keep doing it. I had to advocate for him to get all these different things, and realizing that he qualified for a one-to-one, which is basically an assistant that is with him all day, travels with him to every class to help him function in class and be able to like focus and do these other things. And as all this stuff was happening, realizing his other diagnosis, his severe ADHD, and all these other things were now coming into play, and he's been playing catch up since then. And I'm so proud of him. And this is with him also having behavioral challenges and stemming and all these other things. And it's just gotten to the point where, fast forward, they're in third grade, and I have all of these gray hairs now, from being stressed out, like on my knees praying and like doing all these meetings and advocating for him, and then advocating for his brother, but also making sure that it had like some level of normacy. And I'm so proud of them both for like their perseverance and their resiliency. And so like here we are today, like where there have been all these behavioral challenges starting third grade. Tennessee has this third grade reading commitment, which has had me on edge for so many different reasons. And it's just gotten to a point like where everything is changing, everything is getting harder. They're transitioning classes, and there's so much that they're expected to be able to master as 8-year-olds, like transition to classes, keeping up with binders, keeping up with folders, doing all these different things, but also like having learning disabilities and all these other challenges. And it's been so overwhelming for me and for them. And there was an incident that happened. I don't want to go into a lot of it, but there was an incident that happened, and it led me to just realize that the system is still not on the side of Black and brown children, or children, specifically my black children. I can't speak for everybody, but it's just not been a good situation, and I really hate that, because as an educator of public school and like working in the public school sector, I advocate and I absolutely love being able to do that. This just isn't working for my kid anymore. And the situation has gotten so stressful with meetings and ambushings and like coming to like being called. It's so many negative things that have happened. And it's just gotten to a point where I am tired of fighting the school to prison pipeline. I'm tired of having to deal with verbiage such as aggressive or threat or all these different things for a child who's neurodivergent, who struggles with being able to regulate their emotions because of them being on the spectrum, and all these different things that at this present moment they do not have all of the tools to be able to do like every other neurotypical child. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, and it's frustrating. And for someone who knows their civil rights and knows what my child is capable of doing and what they qualify for, and having to remind the school district whose job it is to support children that it's important to follow IEPs and 504s. It's important to follow behavior plans and safety plans. It's important to do all these things, which is your job, and realizing that none of these things are being done for your child is extremely, extremely disheartening and extremely frustrating. And so I've just come to the decision that time is up. Time is up. And like, what does that mean? What is time's up? It's time to pull them from public school. And like the past couple days have been the final straw. I think like hearing a school leader say, you know what, yes, they've been at this school since pre-K. So they've been at this school for 4 years. They're in third grade now, but looking at your child's file and all these different things, we just are not the space for your child. We cannot accommodate this. And might we suggest alternative school, which is a whole nother conversation, because the alternative school doesn't address academics, it's more behavioral. And there are so many other negative things and so many other really, really horrible things about these conversations I've had with people over the years, but specifically this past couple weeks, maybe like the last 7 to 10 days, school-wise, has been hell. And we're literally a month into the school year. And I just think about how much more schooling my kids have. They're in third grade. They have a long way to go before they can graduate, and just realizing that the system has pretty much given up on them. And like to the point of like taking his one-to-one assistant and giving it to another child and making her split her schedule, which is not at all what the contract was stating, and all these things that I've had to do to work my butt off to get for him. But to literally sit there and be like, perhaps this isn't the best place for him. Where is he supposed to go? Like seriously, we don't have autistic specific schools. We don't have programs that are just geared towards that. Not to mention, this is his zoned school. Not to mention, he also has a twin. Like, what am I supposed to do as their dad? I can't drop them at 2 different places, even if that was an option. It's just me. But realizing that that's even something that escaped your lips just convinced me that time is up. And as a master educator, award-winning educator, I was like, yeah, this is wild to be in this room with people that are sped supervisors and behavioral techs and social workers and all these different things. And that's what you want to say on record, which is fine. That's your feelings. But I got it from here. So I don't know what this next chapter is going to look like, but all I know is that they're not going back. Either of them. Not for the foreseeable future. They're going to homeschool. I'm going to have to homeschool my children. I'm going to have to homeschool my kids. And I came to the realization today, and as scary as that sounds, like, we're a one-income household. Like, I've done well. I know how to save. I've saved. I've done all these things. Yeah, there's a little apprehension, a little fear, a little hesitancy, but I can do it. I'm equipped. And who better to teach my children than me? You know, God gave them to me, you know? I was chosen to be their dad. And it's my job to teach them in all aspects. Not just life lessons, not just in every way. And that's what's going to have to happen. And I will figure it out. I figured it out. I've been teaching for way too long, and maybe this is why I went to school for it. I don't know. Maybe because, like, God knew that I would need those skills to teach my own kids. But just, one of my worst fears as a parent is leaving this earth with my kids unprepared, and my kids, like, not being able to function without me. The world is harsh enough, and it's my job to protect them, especially as small and as young as they are. It's my job to do that. So I gotta do it. Homeschool it is. All right. Until next time. I feel like I've just been ranting, but decisions are made. Let's figure out how to do it.